Good morning. I am David Wolf here for another author chat. It's Friday somewhere, and I'm here with Ed Eppley, who is joining us from a remote
Hey, I'm not getting your video now, David.
and
Yeah.
undisclosed location. It's okay. We're live. We're just going to keep going. So anyway, I can hear you loud and clear, Ed.
Okay.
Great to be with you. Thanks so much for doing this.
Oh, excited to join you, David.
Yeah, absolutely. So quick conversation about, look, the book is Let's Be Clear. Here is Ed's cover, so you have a visual image of the work he is doing, and you're doing some phenomenal work. The book was written with Adrienne Jane Burke. So the subheading is 6 Disciplines of Focused Management Pros. And what is a management pro? Maybe a good place to dive in is the definition of that, if you would.
Well, it's somebody who appreciates that there's different disciplines that you have to master if you're going to be able to predictably produce results working through others. So a manager's job is to produce results and grow people. That's the essence of their job. But most managers struggle making the jump from doing the work to now getting the work done through others, David. And so there are 6 disciplines that have been defined that really, when somebody masters those, they have a much better job. Much better potential to produce the results that are expected.
Yeah, it's
so those disciplines, in no particular order, are leadership. Go ahead.
No, sorry. There's a little delay with us, of course, as always on the internet. Go ahead. We'll start with leadership.
Yeah, leadership, which is really about how you get people to go in the direction you want them to. There's structure, which is how you organize and deploy your resources. Culture, development, I'm forgetting one more. Forgive me.
Well, here I've got them here. So it's leadership, strategy, people development, structure, organizational performance, and culture. And culture and people stuff.
Okay, I didn't have them all. Okay.
Yeah, I have. I'm fortunate because I've got a cheat sheet here with your table of contents, so it helps me navigate the contents of the book. You bet. Yeah. So the people part of this, really, is that the most challenging thing when you work with corporations out there in the field?
It probably is, although if you get back to what's most important, if I don't do a good job of knowing myself, which is the essence of leadership and the self-awareness, it doesn't really matter if you have the people stuff down. So in a hierarchical sense, the leadership, if you don't do that well, you're not going to, it doesn't really matter how well you do at the other ones. Having said that, though, David, most managers do struggle with people because they're so unpredictable. And most of us fall prey to thinking that what motivates me is what will motivate someone else. And that seldom is the case.
Oh my, yeah. So true as I think about what you're saying. So take leadership, since it's so profoundly, hierarchically speaking, it's so profoundly important. What are some of the challenges, if you could parse that out a little bit in just a couple of minutes, that leaders are having right now as you work with them? What are some of the challenges they're having?
Well, there's a couple of components to leadership that are essential. One is being authentic. One of the things I know about you is you figured out at this point in your life, you're not trying to be somebody other than who you are. I think most of us earlier in our careers probably tried to be a clone of somebody else that we respected or admired, or were told we're a good leader. And I think in your case, you figured out, nah, I got to be David. And so to the extent that people can figure that out and know that, they're going to come across as being more authentic and more worthy of being trusted. So that's number one. Number two, I think that you have to provide energy. You have to be somebody who can tap into the energy that most people possess and want to give us, but you have to give them a way to release that. And so great leaders really are experts in being able to do that. And, and also being able to spot the kind of people who can do that. I mean, not everybody wants to bring energy to their jobs, so we got to hire those kinds of people. I think the last thing I would offer up is being courageous. Most leaders don't fail from being too decisive. They fail from not being decisive enough. And courage is to be able to act despite fear. So part of what the organizations expect from us, part of what our us is to help them, or in our own cases, to make the decisions that should be made, and knowing that it's not going to be perfect, but waiting is usually not going to make the situation better.
Make sweeping decisions decisively. That's what is expected of us, and it's probably going to get better results. And I'm sure it affects attitude of everyone around us. It's so beautiful. And thank you for the kudos. I will say that I went through early in my music production career. I had a mentor, and I worked with him for 5 years, and he wasn't perfect. He had some personality things that could be a little bit polarizing. But I did start out by imitating him, quite honestly, in the studio, literally with musicians. I found myself almost encompassing or embodying his way of production. And gradually, as I got older, I started in the business when I was 25. By the time I was, in my 30s, I had found my own voice. And I'm sure this journey is different for each of us who explore leadership and go on that leadership journey. So thank you for your kind kudos, but it took some time for me to get there. I'm sure it's different with everyone. Before we go, we worked on your audiobook together, and I think you're someone that actually has some media and radio experience. So for you, this seems like a pretty easy process. Talk a little bit about your experience of reading your own audiobook and what that was like for you.
Well, it took some encouragement from you and a couple of other people to say, Ed, your voice is unique in a lot of ways, and so you should take advantage of that. And I appreciated encouragement. I generally don't lack for confidence, but right. in areas where I've never been before, I'm like anybody else, and so I really didn't know whether or not my voice was the right to share that book with others in an audio fashion. But you had gotten to know me well enough, and several other people whose opinions I really trust had all said the same thing. And so it became very apparent that, okay, I needed to do this. And for anyone that's listening, that's either on this journey or not, with David and his team, you're in really good hands, because they're not trying to, this is not a factory. This is art. And you treat every individual and every scenario as a unique situation. And I really appreciate you did that so well with me.
No, thanks so much. That's so nice to hear. The book is Let's Be Clear. There's the cover again, 6 Disciplines of Focused Management Pros. Ed is doing some phenomenal work on a lot of levels, including some fascinating work around COVID continuity for companies. We did a series of webinars with him recently, and very successful, and people are raving about the work you're doing. So honored and proud to have participated in Let's Be Clear, and the journey you're on as you make the world a better place, transforming people and leaderships. Thanks so much, Ed. Thanks for being with us on this little live Friday author chat. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, David. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Be well, everyone.